right there.
The lead assistant.
No, he's a player. He's not a coach.
All right. Benny, whenever you're ready, just your thoughts on the result tonight and the overall performance and keeping a clean sheet.
Result, obviously, very important. I think the work that the guys are putting into it, it doesn't always come with a result, right? And it's really nice when it does, because it gives you that added boost, that added confidence, that proof of concept that I've talked about before. So, yeah, it's an important result. It puts us back, within touching distance of the playoffs, which is the first goal. But more than that, I thought it was a resilient performance, because in the first half, it wasn't pretty. I've talked to the guys. There's more than one way to win games, and keeping a clean sheet in that first half, when they kind of, came at us for maybe 15, 20 minutes in the middle of that first half, was important. And then we can make some changes in the second half, some ideas. Guys looked really good that came in. I thought the two subs at halftime were pivotal in kind of what changed in the second half. And again, shutouts. If you get shutouts, you're going to get more often than not, you're going to get results, and you're going to get a lot of wins. And so the defense has been resilient. 11 guys working to make it tough to get to Kendall's goal. And at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing for us is just the continuing moving forward with the ideas, feeling more confident, more comfortable, the chemistry with the players. And I think we're still seeing that. And there's, again, so much room for growth. So all in all, a very positive result, with, again, the best thing after a win is that there's things to work for. So still many things to get better at and improve in, but it was a really good performance in the second half.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, Benny, big team huddle there after the final whistle. I thought that was pretty cool. What was the message in there? What did you guys talk about?
I love doing that. I actually got lost in the mix a couple of these games, not being able to have that conversation early. A lot of times, especially home games, guys have people that they want to see and whatnot, and then it takes a while to get everybody in the locker room. So it's been something that I've enjoyed doing with the players on the field. One, I think it does have that kind of sense of a team huddle, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. Getting together and being together and being one team and fighting for whatever it is that we just fought for 90 minutes and being on the same page. So it's obviously great when it's a win. It's an easier conversation. Being able to have that conversation, kind of, give the guys my feedback, my quick 2 cents, after the game, and how we're moving forward from there, so that everybody's in the same mindset. So it was great to have that, then go see the fans afterwards. It's always an easier conversation after a win.
So for Panos, he gets his first goal of the season.
Was it his first goal?
Yeah.
Okay. What a goal to get it there.
For him, do you think this was kind of get the monkey off as a goal scorer, finally getting that first one of the season? He's one of the big free agents coming in, and he's finally able, and especially with him, such a fantastic goal. Do you think this could be something of a start for him, or how big do you think that was for him, just to kind of finally get one?
I mean, I would say that last week was bigger for him, where he was so involved in so many things that we did. He was at the epicenter of all our good movements last week, and he created the 2 assists to the goals. Of course, goals gives you, confidence. It gives you, it just motivates you more, I think, in a really positive way in sports, where you almost can't get that in any other situation in life, that it just so like quick to give you that added boost, where maybe, 1 week you're not feeling like you're at the top of your game, and then 1 goal, 1 assist, 1 good game is just everything that you needed, right? And so I've seen Panos put in a ton of work in these last 5 weeks that I've been here. It's not easy, and I give, again, it's not just Panos, it's the guys, a lot of credit. I've been very impressed with how quickly they picked up on ideas, and Panos being able to find the right places on the field, the right pockets. He's getting into dangerous areas where he can do the things that he can do, right? And not everybody can do the things that Panos can do. So how can we get him in the right areas? How can we get him the ball in those areas of the field? And he's starting to find that success. And again, proof of concept is something that's huge for players, right? You start seeing something work, you're going to believe in it more. And belief is a very powerful thing. So these guys are, I think they're going in the right direction, and I'm really excited to keep working with them.
Yeah, just to keep going on Panos, It feels like we're just seeing him skim the surface. Just what are some changes you may have implemented that you think might be benefiting him?
Just where he's receiving the ball on the field, right? I think that there's, every player has qualities. Now, you have to utilize those qualities that can benefit the team, and you also have to find how those qualities fit in with what the team needs. Sometimes it's not easy, right? And in the first couple games that I was here, I was struggling to find a way to how do we involve Panos in the best way. And one conversation that I had with him that was, I think a really big conversation between me and him is, I need you central. I need you to be more central. I need you to be patient, and the ball will find you. And maybe we haven't gotten yet to the point where we feel confident enough as a team to build from the back three into the midfield two, and then find pockets of space for our tens. So it's hard to kind of, I can totally relate as a player in his position where I would get antsy and I'm like, hey, give me the ball. If you can't give me the ball, I'm going to come get it. Right. So, it was one of those conversations that I'm asking him for a leap of faith a little bit, trust in what we're trying to get to. And I think that in the Monterey Bay game, he was excellent in where he was on the field. And thankfully we were able to find him in those areas of the field and he was able to find success. I think now he's starting to see, how dangerous he can be because the qualities that he has with his left foot, I mean, the ability to shoot that we saw today, the ability to pass that we saw last week. Once you have those two, weapons and you're getting the ball in dangerous areas, you're inevitably going to get chances to score. So it's been great to work with him, and it's fun to work with a player like that. And obviously I have a lot of experience in that area of the field, and so I can relate to him in so many ways.
So the team got a clean sheet tonight, and you saw the back three work well together. We saw Kendall McIntosh take control of some situations. What were some of the defining characteristics that helped give this defense the confidence and the strategy they needed to see through the 90 minutes without conceding a goal?
Look, it's a great question. I think, again, going almost back to the last answer and question, you have to find out how to utilize players, right? But they have qualities. And the guys that we have on the field have very innate defensive qualities. I mean, Kai is one hell of a defender. Hack is one hell of a defender. Gagi is one hell of a defender. You get guys that are committed to what we're trying to do. And more importantly, as a coach, you give them a clear, concise message as to what it's supposed to look like. They're going to go out and perform. That's what they do. That's who we are, right? We're athletes. We're guys that on the biggest stages tend to light up when we know what we're trying to do. And again, it's simple-minded to just say those three guys because defending is a team sport, right? And so the ability that we have from back to front, I mean, again, going back to a guy like Panos, I thought he did excellently in the pressing, the immediate pressing and making guys accelerate what they want to do with the ball on the Detroit backline. And so it makes it easier for everybody behind. Where's that ball going? Well, it can only go in one direction at that moment. So I do think that everybody's bought into the defensive part. And then you have, a top goalie in Kendall, another top goalie in Rafa. And so if we can limit the amount of chances and good chances that we, allow the other team to create, then those guys are going to have our backs in those moments as well.
This is more of an overview question, but where do you think the club is at in gelling, in implementing the system that you're in right now? Give me a sense just of how close you think we are to.
I still think it's early.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I think that they understand everything that we're trying to implement, but you also, like I said, I think the most important thing is that you start, just like building a building, the foundation. You need the simple, big pieces that everybody can understand. And you got to build towards, whatever the World Trade Center or the Empire State Building, whatever, all these big buildings where you get to the tippy top. You got to, put the pieces slowly. And I do think there's so many things that we can continue to work on and continue to do. But the big foundational pieces are set. I think guys understand what we're trying to do, how we're trying to do it. I was really impressed with, going back to our last game against Monterey, the last 15, 20 minutes were not what we wanted it to look like. These last 5, 10 minutes was, not only did we get the second goal, but we continue to play. We don't give up too many chances. We don't let them into our box, right? We consider our 18-yard box our home, where our wives are, our kids are, our girlfriends, our parents. We don't want anything coming in there, right? And so they did a fantastic job of protecting that area of the field, being composed, not running all over the place defensively, trusting what everybody's job is within that structure. The only thing that's now missing is, can we turn that into a third goal and a counterattacking moment? But we were looking for it. It didn't come. But again, we did an excellent job of closing down shop and making sure we didn't suffer in those last few minutes. So again, on a scale of 1 to 10, I don't know, maybe a 3 or a 4.
Couple more. John?
I got one more. A few days into the transfer window, just are there some areas for improvement you'd like to address? Just what's your evaluation of the roster this far?
I think we're in a good spot in the roster. I'm not going to, be at the forefront of those conversations. Maybe I'll be a part of the conversation when I talk to guys like Jordan and Nana. But at the end of the day, I believe in the roster that we have. You can always try and improve, right? You should always be looking for what potential guys are out there that fit what we're trying to do, the system, the player profiles that we're looking for. I do think that with an understanding, a higher understanding of what we're trying to do and what the players are capable to do in that system, it starts becoming a little bit easier, where somewhere where we might be able to improve on. But right now, man, I don't have any real requests. I'm enjoying working with these guys. I'm still getting to know a lot of these players on and off the field. And I think we have more than enough in this roster to be very competitive in this league.
One more?
Yeah. So in this game against Detroit, there's the NISA rivalry, but next game up against Phoenix, we're back in the Western Conference, where now we're getting to these 6-point swings that are very impactful with how clustered everyone is. What do you think the approach for that game is going to be?
Yeah, I think that every single game within Western Conference is going to be pretty much a 6-point game, right? Whether you play the last place team or the first place team, it is so tight in there. So every game is a 6-pointer. Doesn't change anything that we're trying to do, right? I think we're still trying to grow within our own identity and not so much worry about, man, what if we win? What if we lose? What if we tie? What does that mean in the grand scheme of things? How many games into the season are we now?
Exactly. Halfway.
15. So we got another 15 games to go. So of course, every game matters. And even more so when you're playing against a Western Conference team that you're fighting for positions. But at the end of the day, the focus is on our group. What can we do to get better? What can we do to reemphasize the things that we've shown strength in? And we continue to build, man. It's exciting. It's fun to work with these guys, and I can't wait to get back on Tuesday and keep working on the things that we still, have ways to go.
Sean, last one.
I think we've talked about Ali after every game so far. Just he's really taken that central midfield spot, making it his own. Just what are you seeing from him that really impacts how you want the team to play?
Yeah, man, today was a huge game for him. I'm so glad I didn't make the decision to bring him out at halftime, because I thought he struggled in the first half, and I was worried with the yellow card, and he's a young player and I don't want to put him in a bad position. And so I decided we're going to test him, right? Can he not only up his performance from the first half, but can he play on a yellow card and not take any risks? And it was an extremely mature performance from him. I don't know if we get that first goal without him in there. He was the one that cleaned up the play for Panos. He was excellent in the second half. One of our best players in the second half, playing on a yellow card as one of the young kids. He is a guy that's got a hell of a future in front of him. I think he's got a lot of soccer in him, a lot of soccer IQ, the ability to get out of tight spots. He's a very coachable player, quick learner. I have nothing but positive praise for him. And again, another guy that is exciting to work with and coach and continue to, get him to where I think his level can be, which, I don't even know where it is actually, but the potential just keeps on rising. So it's great to work with a kid like that.
Thanks, guys. I'll be So you want to just start with your overall thoughts on the performance and then the goal you scored?
Yeah, thought first half was a little bit cagey. Both teams, trying to feel their way into the game a little bit. Not our best first half, considering how well we played last week throughout the whole 90. But again, we got to win in different ways, and we tweaked a few things at halftime, and I felt second half. Even the first half, I thought we did okay. We weren't really under any pressure. Second half, we started to dominate a little more and put them under pressure. And once we got the goal, we were able to pick our moments and go forward. And we were still calm and composed under pressure to keep possession and draw them out. Second goal kills the game, but even before that, I was still pretty confident that at 1-0 we were gonna hold out.
I mean, it feels like you're starting to hit your stride in these last two games. Just how important has it felt like for you to have these positive runs of form here?
Yeah, it's important. Wins breed confidence, and when you feel the belief of the players, I feel that from my teammates that they're giving me a lot of responsibility to be that man to create for the team, and to be honest, I know that's what I'm here to do. So it's been a little bit disappointing on my side that it took me a little while to get going, but it's been tough at the beginning, different systems or whatever, but Benny's come in, and I think the way he wants the team to play suits me down to the ground. And I think now you're starting to see what I can do, and I know I have even more levels to get to. I know what I can do in the championship, and I've proven it, and now it's just about being consistent. And Benny and the staff have been great for me, and I think for the team, even offensively hitting our stride, but defensively not giving up much. So
you hit on some of those points that yourself and some of your teammates are starting to hit their stride at this point of the season, and one of those teammates being Ali Alnawi. What's it like working for him, being sort of that veteran mentor, and then working well together in the attack?
Yeah, I mean, I don't try to be that mentor for him. I think with me and Ali, we have a really good relationship on and off the field. And to be honest, since preseason, I'll be honest, we've all seen his quality, and he's been biding his time, working hard, waiting for his opportunity. And I've always kind of put my arm around him because I see a lot of myself when I was younger, how he sees the game. So I know how difficult it can be when you're training well and not getting those opportunities. So I think I've taken that role a little bit with some of the guys, but to be honest, mainly with Ali. And I think the connection that we have on the field is really building, always looking for each other. And for such a young player to show the calmness and the maturity that he's shown these past weeks, to just be thrown in the deep end and deal with it, and he's been unbelievable. And today, yellow card in the first half, and to complete 90 minutes staying there mentally, not giving away fouls, and to have that composure on the ball was big for us. Even when we went 1-0 up, drawing fouls, keeping possession. So I think he was our best player on the field today, and he's helped us massively. Just like people like Gagi coming in has been amazing, and every guy that stepped onto the field. But for sure, I think Ali deserves the most praise.
Yeah, we talked to Benny about some different ways he wants to use you. He's talked about telling you that he wants you to be central, really be central to the ball, not always going back to it, demanding the ball. Just kind of talk about those changes that Benny has implemented that you think is benefiting you.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Benny played a similar position to myself, so we've had these conversations. I'm a guy that, I try to take as much responsibility on the field as I can. And when I see things that I feel like I can help or impact, my natural instinct is to go help my teammates. And if we're struggling to build up from the back or whatever it may be, I always want to go help. And maybe that's not the right thing for the team. Maybe I see it a certain way, but Benny's really instilled into me to trust my teammates. And at the beginning of the year, when Benny wasn't here, we struggled a little bit with that, and we weren't really being able to create opportunities. So I would then drop deeper to help my teammates, and then I'm not in the right areas. But the difference since Benny's come in and how we want to play has allowed me to now be further up the field. And he's honest with me, like telling me, if you're not in those spots, you're not going to play. I don't care how good you are, what you do, you need to follow and be part of the team. And now seeing the benefits of being in those spots, and I've always wanted to be higher up because I know what I can do and help the team with goals, assists, and creating opportunity. That's my main strength. And now having my teammates behind me that are getting me a lot of opportunities to create. We saw that last week and today. So now it's just mainly myself having my trust in my teammates, and Benny told me from the beginning to have that blind faith in him that he'll give me those opportunities to be the player that I am. So it's paying off. Still got a long way to go. I know I have a long way to go as an individual to improve, and I just want to improve as much as possible.
So I'm sure the winning's helping with this, but it seems visibly you guys seem like you're having more fun, from the celebrations to after the game with the supporter section. There seems to be just a lot more joy, outward joy. Has that kind of always been there, or is that more of a revelation over the last months, where it's like you guys are just visually showing just so much more joy? It seems like you guys are just enjoying playing with each other a lot.
Yeah, I think we've always, from the beginning of preseason, we've had a lot of new players, and myself trying to implement my personality, and a lot of other guys and people coming in late and different languages and different cultures. It's not been easy. But for sure, the last month has been amazing. Like you said, winning and playing well helps everything. But it just on a day-to-day basis on the training field, we're getting that confidence. And when you see the results going your way, and we can see there's a process to it, and we can see week by week how we're improving and how much more we still have to go, and we're winning games and keeping teams without conceding, you build that confidence. And again, the chemistry has always been there, wins help, but we have a good group of guys. Everyone's willing to fight for the team, and everyone knows that they're going to get their opportunity. Benny's come in and put some guys in that maybe hadn't played so much before, and they've shown that they deserve to be playing. So we know we don't just have a starting 11. We know that we have a great group of guys. Everyone wants the best for everyone. Again, you're always disappointed if you're not playing, but everyone's fighting for each other right now.
You've been around the USL Championship with other clubs as well the last few years. Have you been able to implement any of the stuff that you've learned in those situations also?
Yeah, I mean, the most time I've spent is with Phoenix, and obviously winning a championship there and being a key player and an important part there. I try to bring as much experience as I can. Most of my career before that was in Europe. But yes, from what I've seen, the season's long in the US. It's a long season. I've played in Europe, but the USL season, and again with the whole playoff system and all of that, it's who gets hot at the right times. And now we're building blocks. We know we're not in the position where we want to be, but we're getting there slowly with our performances. And I think the main thing we have to do is focus on our performances. At the beginning of the year, I tried to implement my mentality and how I see the game. And again, that can be perceived maybe in the wrong way because I'm a competitor and I can come across in a very direct and brutal way. But I see myself as a winner, and maybe I've learned these past couple months on who I can speak to certain ways and who I need to speak to differently. And I think that's been the biggest growth that I've shown. And still now I'm still learning. But yeah, I'm a sore loser. I don't like to lose. And when not performing and not winning, it hurts. So I've learned how to deal with that. And for sure, I try to implement parts of what I saw from a winning season that I had in Phoenix and being a key player there. And it's tough. We've had so many different players that see the game in so many different ways. And the biggest thing that I can say for Benny is we may all have different ideas individually, but on the field, 11 men at a time, and the guys that aren't playing, we see it now the same way. Mm-hmm. And at the beginning of the year, I may have seen it one way and 10 others may have seen it 10 other different ways. Mm-hmm. So I may be dropping deep to get on the ball and they see, no, we're going long. And now I feel like everyone knows their roles and everyone's growing into their roles. And it's only been a month since Benny's here. So we have full confidence in what we're doing. and building momentum. It's 3 wins in a row, and yeah, as an individual, big game for us, the team next week, but for me personally, massive game. So hopefully it can continue.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.